So this next faction is kind of based on Edgerunners from the Cyberpunk RPG.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Edgerunners were basically mercenaries. It's basically your gun for hire, independent mercenary person. Usually travels either in a group or like in the 2077 video game. You're like, a solo operative. The 2077 video game has different factions you can belong to, but Edgerunners is kind of like in that set of options. So they are basically the outlaws, hackers, thieves, mercenaries, street level people that are totally obsessed with body modification.
Gotcha.
So when we thought about hackers and mercenaries, body modification really made sense. That they would prove themselves to be able to do their job better.
Right. Okay.
So these people are more machine than human. Their body modification technology would look similar to like the modern Transformers movies, where you have this kind of organic, layered look, but it's definitely machine.
Got it.
Or did you get to see Alita Battle Angel? Yeah. Alita, the main character, is kind of a good example of this. Though her stuff is much more refined. Like the big hulking monsters of people that play the game in the movie. That's the level of body modification that these Edgerunners would have in general.
Got it. Okay.
And it's like fully integrated. When you have where your flesh stops and the technology begins, it should look purposeful. If there's a seam, then it looks like it was a purposeful seam. Like they are removing limbs on purpose to give themselves some kind of upgrade. So it's surgical.
Right. Okay. So more akin to like Cyborg from DC.
Akin to that, I'm actually thinking Locutus from Star Trek, because the rest of the Borg were just
the Borg.
So machine, they didn't look even human anymore, but they left him with a human face, so... Yeah,
Locutus would be a good example. And Borg are a really good example because their tech is a little bit dirtier. You have a lot of cables and connections and the downside to the Borg is like it's all black and a lot of the detail is lost. Whereas...
So it's Borg with flair!
It kind of is. It's like, corporate is like the high society. So the Edgerunners are like your mid-level. These are people that are into pop culture. They're into fashion. They're into cars. And, when a mercenary makes money, what do they do with the money? They spend it on themselves to either upgrade themselves or get new fancy toys, new fancy clothes, to kind of, up their reputation through fashion. So they're very fashion conscious. So even though the tech is a little bit dirtier than like corporate, where corporate is way over designed, this is designed with purpose, but you're probably getting your technology from a bit of a seedier source. Like a cybernetic surgeon that's not serving the high class kind of thing.
Just doing it on the side.
Right.
Yeah. And most of the modifications are like defense or combat.
Right.
So limbs that have a lot of spikes or blades or a gun that comes out of it.
Something to help on the next job.
Yeah. Things like that.
Got it. Okay.
It's, a little bit clunky, but not too bad.
I think,
right.
I don't know why this isn't really body mod, but I'm thinking, anytime that Mando went, he dropped off the steel, they're just like, okay, what weapons do you want? And so they just started filling the whistling birds or whatever it was. And just,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's the perfect example of like what the Edgerunners do. They go, they earn money, and what do they put the money in? Themselves. And trying to make their stuff better. Weapons, armor, vehicles, things like that. Some of their technology, and this is where like the look is going to diverge a little bit from just a regular Earth-centric cyberpunk. Corporate faction, we said they break down alien technology to use like the core components of it. right? So they have like research teams and laboratories that like break it down, and then they try to replicate that technology or use power sources, things like that. Edgerunners, very much hackers. So if they find a piece of alien technology, they're going to just try to figure out how to use it and try to integrate it into something they already have going on. Probably highly experimental, highly dangerous. Sort of like the alien technology in District 9, where you had this kind of ragtag group of scientists that were trying to figure out how to get a human to be able to use the alien tech because it was DNA coded. You remember the movie, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like that feeling, like, you know, oh man, we found this alien weapon. Let's try to figure out how to make it do something with my cybernetic arm. Like, I'm going to put this piece of alien technology on my arm and see what happens, you know?
Right.
So very risk-taking, adrenaline junkies kind of people. The attire that they would wear, you know, we said pop fashion.
Yeah.
Jackets, vests, exposed skin, lots of tattoos, designer tattoos, and jewelry. Face coverings would probably be minimal.
Right.
So nothing
They
that
want you to
hides
know
the
who they
face.
are.
Yeah. Nothing that hides the face. Like things that accentuate the face, totally. You know, like a replacement jaw would look really cool, and it doesn't really hide the face. It just like makes it even more pronounced. But probably not like in corporate, like you might have dudes with full-on helmets just hiding their identity. But Edgerunners are like the complete opposite, highly individualistic, very expressive. And then, like in a lot of Cyberpunk games, melee weapons are going to be very common among these types of mercenaries. Probably something like a katana or like a high-tech katana would be something pretty common among them.
Right, okay.
The movies or looks that we were feeling inspired by for these particular aesthetics was like...
Sorry, I had a thought. I'll come back.
Oh, no. Go. I just jumped into something new. So.
No, mine. Okay, so I was thinking Edgerunners were kind of like Destro from G.I. Joe. You know, got the very flashy silver face, whereas Cobra Commander is the very corporate with, you know, the mask over. Could be anybody behind the mask kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
But like Edgerunners would be like, you know, Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Any of the characters in Blade Runner. Any of the illustrations for Cyberpunk Red or Cyberpunk 2077. Alita Battle Angel, which I kind of went over already. And then a little bit like Ghost in the Shell, but like more about the fashion than the tech. Because the tech in Ghost in the Shell feels very corporate, but some of the fashion would feel a lot more Edgerunner kind of. You just have a lot to say, don't you?
Yeah. Especially when Ben's talking.
What happened to taking a nap?
I did that.
Automatons in the Edgerunner faction. Are you serious, man? I apologize for our foster cat. He has a lot to say.
Yeah.
Automatons from Edgerunners would be clunky but functional. May not always be bipedal. You know, they might have multiple appendages or multiple legs, or they might be driven by wheels or tracks, or, you know, like as far as bipedal, like the older models in iRobot, not the version that Sunny was, but like the older ones.
Right.
Or things like Transformers. Chappie is a really good example of something that would be an Edgerunner AI, or even Short Circuit. Johnny Five would also be a really good example of that.
What was the boxing one?
Real Steel.
Real Steel, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The robots
Those
in
robot
Real Steel
designs are
would also be
gorgeous.
really good examples of that, for sure. AI, obviously, instead of remote control, but still.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be bipedal. a lot of the droids in Star Wars would be really good sources of inspiration as well. Just as like, you know, locomotion and like some of the functions and stuff that they serve.
Right.
So you could have an AI that just follows you around and might be carrying a bunch of extra weapons for you, right? And you just ask for it to pop out a weapon, and like R2-D2 shooting out a lightsaber, maybe a katana comes shooting out of the head of this automaton, right? Or it could be the level of something like the AIs in iRobot, and be something that actually can help you as another person level of intelligence. So, but function will definitely come into play there a lot more often, I think. Whatever serves the purpose of the hacker or mercenary would probably be ideal.
Got it. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Now, as far as the vehicles for Edgerunners, the player colors for Edgerunners are going to be blue or cyan. These transport ships should kind of feel like a roadster, like a futuristic roadster. You know, it's highly individualistic. You know, lots of sleek lines and curves, fancy paint job. The cockpit can be like midway back. David, you had this idea of like the cockpit being like just all glass so that you can see inside and really show off the interior. Glowing outlines for panels and engines, what might look like circuitry or neons, hot colors, things that are like the paint job should be simple but personal. So like in Destiny, a lot of the paint jobs are like, here's this really high-tech thing and an orange stripe across it. Looks really good, like a sci-fi thing, but would work way better for this if it was like David said, like World War II fighter planes, like paint jobs.
Oh yeah,
you know, where they personalized them and
the teeth and
made them look animalistic, or you know, paint a hot girl on the side or something like that. You know, updated for the modern era. So like more than just like stripes, but less than like graffiti and flames.
Right.
Like we should probably avoid flames.
Gotcha. Okay.
And these designs, like a roadster, it should feel very contained. Where corporate can have like extra appendages and weapons and wings and stuff like that. Edgerunners are probably going to be much more compact. The silhouette is going to be a lot simpler, and it's not going to have a lot of appendages, no fins or stuff like that. Doesn't mean it needs to be just like bulbous, but like if it's going to have geometric shape, it should look congruent through like designing a car. There should be a flow line through the whole piece, kind of thing.
Got it. Okay, that's what you're saying.
Corporate, very angular, very stealth. These guys, very like futuristic car inspired. You know, has a flow to the curved of the lines, with a sleek paint job and a lot of glass and stuff. Still has to carry cargo and people. So it has to be bigger than just a flying car. Like it's still a transport.
Sure, right. Yeah. Got it. Right.
My goodness. What? Come up here. Come up here. There you go. I'll pet you over here.
In regards to the glass cockpit, I was thinking something, you know, off to the side, where you can still have full control of the vehicle, but somebody can see who is the pilot. So think kind of Millennium Falcon or Outrider from Shadow of the Empire. Just something that's kind of set to the side, but it's got a glass ceiling, so it's obvious. You know, you can point out, okay, that's that Edgerunner. You know, we can easily spot him, and then, you know, identify him that he's in charge or he's doing the job.
I think the main difference between like for the cockpit, definitely. But the big difference between this kind of design and like something from Star Wars is I had envisioned in my head like 30% of the ship should just be engines.
Right. No, I'm just
Like
talking about the cockpit.
the engines should be like a third of it. A third of the ship should just be big ass engines. You know, so that it looks like it. Oh my. Okay. Hi. Hi.
I shall not be ignored.
Hi. Yes, I see you. I'm so sorry that you're being ignored. Look at this baby.
Yeah.
This boy is 12 pounds.
That's a good sized cat.
And it's all muscle.
That is a good sized cat.
Yeah, you are, aren't you? Are you falling asleep?
This is all I wanted.
Yes, hi. So
big engines.
Big engines, really big engines. Okay, you're going now. All right, cool.
There goes your mic.
My goodness. And now there's cat hair all over it too. All right. We had several potential names for the Edgerunners.
Okay.
The first one that came up was just mercs for mercenaries. Seemed like the kind of the obvious take for this particular group of people. Even though some of them are hackers, like mercs just kind of made sense. Another one that I came up with was mods, short for body modified. You know, I liked the idea of something that was short, memorable, and something that the players could refer to without having to know like a more complex word.
Yeah. I had biomorph. Was that?
Yeah, I think that was that was one of yours. Biomorph. That was a good one. My friend Chaz came up with apparently in Cyberpunk 2077. There's like you're called augmented or something.
Yeah, the augs.
And so shortening that to augs was also kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then I think I had like cyborgs, and then that's kind of just where we were at with it. Trying to now we're kind of at that remixing stage. Like, do you have any input on any of those? Like after hearing about it, like what would you think about it being called?
I think there has to be something that really calls back into the whole body mod aspect of it. There's something that needs to say, like, I don't know, like they seem to be very much a group that the unified thought is going beyond merging. It it's almost giving a purpose to the technological aspect. So it's like the Borg, where they are a truly unified concept. That's
so maybe something with bio or mod in the name. Bio mods. That doesn't roll off the tongue very easily, does it?
No.
Cyber mods. That's kind of clunky too.
Yeah.
Another
it's
name
close.
for like your structure, your biological structure is your frame, bioframe.
Cosmod, like cosmetic modification.
Cosmod. That sounds like a magazine, like a futuristic magazine for people that are very fashion sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the kind you buy from a door-to-door salesman.
Modomorph, augmorph. I don't know about morph. Morph sounds kind of funny.
Yeah.
Bio-aug. Biomercs. No. Bioframe was kind of cool. I just feel like it's a little long.
I still like the word cosmetic. I just feel like all of their...
I mean, cyber is kind of on the nose, but, some form of cybernetic seems appropriate.
Bionetic thoughts?
Rolls off the tongue easier than bioframe.
Much
Is that a word already?
I really
Bionetic?
like that.
Seems like it would be a word.
Probably.
I don't know. I've never heard that.
It is.
So I think we could use it because so Bionetic is a word used in homeopathic clinics, those places that are like, we can heal you with crystals kind of places. Talk about bionetic scans and bionetic training and bionetic healing and things like that.
Yes.
Like there's a company called Bionetics Solutions, and it's train your immune system and body to self-heal. And I'm like, yeah, it already does that. Thanks. So yeah, I'm not concerned about that. I don't think anybody's going to look at our game and go, "Oh, is this about like self-healing?" And I don't think that's going to happen. So I like it. I think we should print it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Edgerunners are now called.
No, I really like that.
All
Bionetics.
right.
It'll be the blue players,
Yeah.
heavily body modified. Cool.
Start calling it Bionetic Blue.
That's the color I was going to expect you to use, Mario, is Bionetic Blue. No, we just started watching season 2 of Love, Death, and Robots. Mm-hmm. And there's...
how is it so far?
Dude, there's one episode that has the perfect aesthetic for Bionetics. It's about these 3 mostly machine people, mercenaries, that are on a heist, and the episode's about a heist. It's really cool.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh, it's a company too. Mm-hmm. This looks really sketchy though.
It does.
Like they claim to be doing like defense engineering and for government and commercial. Oh, there's a photo gallery of their logo and a trailer with a truck on it.
Yeah.
And some rockets. They build rockets and space shuttles? Okay.
I have never heard
weird.
of them.
All right.
That wasn't there last time we searched.
What do you mean? This is the first time we've been searching.
I thought we cut this.
I was talking about Love, Death, and Robots and how that related to Bionetics.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm back on track now.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Do we spell it with a K instead to be a little bit more extreme?
Oh my
X.
god.
I like X's.
Bionetics
Yeah.
with an X.
Yeah. An X or a K, put a little bit of that Rob Liefeld on it.
We'll play around with that.
Okay.
We'll play around with that.
Yeah.
Mario, if you're still up for it, we can get into the third faction. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I got time for that one,
The third faction is based on the Nomads from the other Cyberpunk-inspired stuff, and basically the Mad Max people. So let's get into that.